What's poppin'? Peace and increase. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Power Book 4 Season 2 official teaser breakdown and the release date. If you enjoyed the video, like, sub to the man's movie about no label to label, all the fucking Power content creators, and let's boogie.
I want to know everything about the men running shit.
We own this city. Follow me.
Let's face the music.
Tommy fucking Egan. I'm back.
There may be trouble playing in the background sounds just about right as we see Tommy Egan back on our screens, not in New York but in Chicago in Force, and here's some extra details about Force Season 2. Tommy Egan is on a mission to avenge the death of Liliana, and with the Flynn organization weakened, he's more determined more than ever to take over the Chicago drug world. But with the CBI split down the middle, Tommy and Diamond first must maintain the edge over Janard, and as their fractions feud in the streets, Tommy capitalizes on another rivalry between the Serbs and Miguel Garcia, the most formidable drug lord in Chicago. After setting off a chain reaction of violence in pursuit of his ambition, Tommy must race to stay ahead of men who are coming for what's theirs. A federal task force will be closing ranks, and a sadistic supply with direct links to a cartel. All while torn between the promise of a second chance with his blood family, Tommy must decide what he's willing to sacrifice to finally ascend the throne of a kingpin. So that's the official synopsis for Force Season 2, and I'm going to get to a few of those details later on in this video, especially around this new connect that seems to be in town, Miguel Garcia, and the federal task force led by AUSA Stacey Marks. But just to add to this, Joseph Sikora did a recent interview with Chicago Today, and he said we're going to see the real Chicago, how difficult it is to navigate Chicago for an outsider, the diversity, and we're going to see a celebration of Latino culture that he doesn't believe that was explored more in Season 1, but they're going to be doing so much more in Season 2, and we're going to see the real Chicago that we all recognize. Now, Tommy had a lot of issues in Chicago in Season...
Wait a sec. They about to shoot an episode in O Block?
1 after he sandwiched himself between two of Chicago's biggest crime families, the CBI and the Flynns, and both are going to be at the center of attention along with Tommy once again.
That nigga Janard, he do like the type of nigga you might catch on 63rd.
But there does seem like there's going to be a new major threat in town in the form of law enforcement, something that was in the background in Season 1, but it seems like they're going to come in heavy in Season 2, so Tommy may want to watch his back, especially because he's supposed to be dead in New York. Now, there isn't much to go on because the teaser was very short and it doesn't give much away, apart from the fact we are going to see the same old Tommy return, who will show brute force, claim territory and blood, and ruffle the feathers of old and new players, and potentially the Irish mob as well. I also have another question going into this new season of Force. Could we even see a familiar face crossing over to Chicago, especially after we saw Tommy in episode 9 of Ghost? For example, Tariq St. Patrick, or maybe even Blanca Rodriguez, but that's something we're going to get to in a bit.
And yeah, we seen, for y'all, let's just be honest here, I'm not pretending like y'all niggas ain't watched the leaks. In the end of episode 10, we seen Braden and Tariq, like, they're like, fuck, I think I just started a war, and they're driving off after shooting that Noma and all them, so it would actually make sense for them to go duck out in Chicago for a while.
In a bit more detail later on. As we see Tommy driving into Chicago, we see Stacey Marks, who says she wants to know everything about the men running shit in Chicago. And this is Stacey Marks' character description. She first worked as a public defender before earning her way into the US Attorney's office. She's an independent self-starter who's hungry and ready to make a name for herself. Now, law enforcement seem like they're going to play a heavy role in Season 2 with Stacey Marks, Agent Vargas, and Kayla. And she wants to get down to the bottom of the men running shit, who, let's not forget, did leave a hell of a lot of bodies in Chicago at the end of Season 1. And they're going to continue to drop more. Now, one thing you can guarantee with Tommy is a hell of a lot of action and bodies, but let's not get it twisted. Tommy did show us a different side to his character in Season 1. Tommy came to Chicago off the back of losing some of his people, and he was definitely hurt. But as he navigated his way through Chicago with Diamond, he took notes of the routes, the distros, and he started building his own network. He was slowly building his empire brick by brick, the old-fashioned way, but with a twist, because he's no longer in New York, although as we all know, Tommy plays by his own rules.
Yo, and also got to point out, Tommy is getting smarter too. We can't even deny that. He's definitely using some of the things that Ghost taught him and applying them to his situations. And on top of that, I think we're seeing some little growth. I think him losing Liliana, I think that did something to him because we seen him in episode 9, or I guess you'll see it if you haven't seen it in episode 10. But everybody who watched the leaks knows he told Tasha yeah, I miss, driving around smoking dope with your tea. There's so much shit I got to tell you. Talking about he got a half brother and all that. He values family and told them he loves them. So, I definitely think that was pretty mature of Tommy, because, the old Tommy would have been like, nah, boom. You know what I'm saying? Grand Theft Auto shit.
You keep forgetting, I ain't from this city. So I wasn't born into these rules. So I ain't gotta live by them.
And we see much of the same in the teaser. Tommy definitely plays by his own rules, and he's right back on Demon Time, as he says he owns this city. Although unfortunately at the end of season 1, he was back to square one, and so we are going to see him having to build in real time once again. But on the law enforcement front and Stacey Marks, we do have to touch on these pictures that dropped on her desk at the end of season 1, and the role of Blanca Rodriguez. This Power Book 2 Ghost in Force crossover is definitely in full motion after episode 9 of Ghost, and I wouldn't be surprised if we did see another in the form of law enforcement, because Tommy will continue to create a hell of a lot of noise, not just with law enforcement, but also with Walter Flynn and Jannard. Now in terms of his relationship with Diamond, they are going to be working together again as Tommy sets his sights.
Grrr.
We should have a party.
Gross. The aliens are using skin to
Oh shit, you guys, I actually do need a new TV show to talk about, so let's see what the fuck this is.
fuel their spaceship.
What the
This
fuck?
means war.
Y'all want me to talk about this shit? Kids versus aliens? I don't know. I ain't sure about all that.
His sights on taking over the drug trade in Chicago. Now these are two characters who had very similar thoughts on how they did business, how they built their organization, and that's why they grew close in season 1. But I do think we can go even deeper on their relationship. For example, there's other factors at play with Tommy losing Ghost, who was pretty much by his side since they were kids. And I do think we did see Tommy struggle in season 1 coming to terms with Ghost's death. At times in season 1, Tommy referred to Ghost as his partner, but then we saw him quickly kind of correct himself to say former partner, and so he was definitely kind of coming to terms with losing Ghost. With Diamond, he came out of prison and he was finally reunited with his baby brother Jannard, but a betrayal from Jannard later on in the season definitely broke Diamond's heart, and one of the driving forces that drove a wedge between their relationship was Tommy, but it definitely stemmed more from Jannard.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we're gonna see Diamond and Jannard probably having to work together at some point throughout this season. But if Jannard double crossed Diamond again, Diamond, you gotta pull the trigger, bro. You know what I'm saying? What Weezy say? Trigger finger itching. Like I said, bro, you better start fucking scratching your index finger, nigga.
From Jannard not really accepting an outsider who came in and started doing shit his way. And this goes back around to the beginning of the video, where Josie Sikora said we're gonna see how difficult it is for an outsider to really navigate Chicago, especially because Tommy's someone who rarely plays by anybody else's rules. Now having Diamonds by his side who was born and bred in Chicago will definitely help, along with JP and D-Mac, and other allies that he'll no doubt have to make. Although the problem Tommy has in season 2 is, what is he willing to sacrifice to ascend the throne of a kingpin? We all know the street life is all Tommy's ever known, and going legit was never in the equation, even though it was for his former partner and brother Ghost for 6 seasons of power. So let's see what lengths Tommy's willing to go to and how far he's willing to go to in terms of protecting his new blood family in JP, D-Mac and Kay Egan, especially because Tommy will have plenty of enemies. This beef between the Flynns and Jannard is something that will continue in season 2, as Tommy tries to maintain.
I really hope we see Claudia go to heaven, bro. I'd love to see Tommy empty the clip in that bitch face.
His edge over Jannard, and we hear 3 of them saying Tommy fucking Egan, 2 being Walter Flynn and Jannard, and the third was a female voice who we didn't see, so we can't be 100% certain as to who says Tommy, but we all know from season 3 of Ghost teasers and trailers, these teasers are made to send us down the wrong direction. But one thing I do think is pretty certain is this war between Jannard and Tommy. That's something that's going to be on fire in season 2. We see someone pointing their gun towards Tommy's blue Mustang, and if it is Jannard, then Tommy will definitely cancel Christmas on his ass. Now in terms of Claudia Flynn, she's also someone who better watch her back because Tommy will definitely want to avenge Liliana's death, and with Claudia being the one to pull the trigger, she's someone who will definitely need to have her head on a swivel. In terms of her relationship with Walter Flynn, we all know she wants a seat at the table, and eventually she wants to take over, but this is a relationship that is built on the foundation of manipulation and lies, and the same goes for Vic Flynn. The official synopsis tells us that the Flynn organization will be weakened, so they definitely will face some tough times towards the beginning of season 2. Now we all know what we get with Tommy, nobody stands in his way, whether it be the Irish bosses in Dublin to those in the streets with the CBI and the Flynns, but he will need to make some new friends because he's not fucking with Dahlia, and he also needs a new connect, something which the synopsis does tease, which is where I think the Mexican cartel comes in with Miguel Garcia. Now something we saw Tommy doing in season 1.
That's insane, bro. Can y'all imagine, bro? They probably got this nigga El Chapo Guzman. They probably broke this nigga out of prison for an episode of Power Book 4.
would sandwich himself between two of Chicago's crime families and taking advantage of a city where territory was up for grabs. And I do think Tommy's going to be doing the same in season 2, except taking the advantage of some beef between the Serbs and Miguel Garcia of the Mexican cartel. Although unfortunately there's not much to go on in terms of the Serbs or the Mexican cartel in this short teaser, so I do think we're going to have to wait for the official trailer to get our first look at the Mexicans, who will be bringing this Narcos cartel vibe. But that's a breakdown of the short teaser for Power Book 4 Force, one which will premiere on September the 1st, which I know is a bit of a wait, but as usual in the Power Off season I will be bringing you some in-depth theories, breakdowns, not just
I mean, it could be worse though, you know. It's already about to be June, July, August. It's like a 3-month wait, you know. Like compared to how long they made us wait for fucking the third season of Ghost. I mean, this ain't that bad. I mean, to me personally, this has so far has been the weakest spinoff. So I'm hoping there's some redemption in season 2. But y'all let me know in the comment section what we're thinking, and y'all also let me know some other TV shows to talk about. I mean, y'all, yeah, I know y'all don't want recasts on kids versus aliens, do you?
not just for Force, but for Power Book 2 Ghost and Raising Kanan as well. But drop all your thoughts down below and let me know what you made of the first look teaser for season 2.
Oh yeah, and don't forget, so my man from Kingston, Jamaica, MovieBot, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.